Hey Deckers, Liam here. Valve has now released a preview build of SteamOS 3.4.6, and while the overall amount of changes are small, it's a very exciting one. To grab it, simply go into the settings into System, select Preview from the drop-down, and let it reboot. Then check for updates and it should be available. It brings with it an update to the open source Mesa graphics driver, specifically on the Vulkan side of things. That includes fixed graphical corruption issues with Wolong Fallen Dynasty. Ray tracing is now available and working in Doom Eternal. And they fixed graphical corruption issues and GPU crashes in several upcoming titles. Now, while the first two are quite exciting, as I know a lot of people were interested in playing Wolong, and we're finally seeing ray tracing start to appear without a bunch of workarounds, and it's getting to a playable level 2 that I'll show you in a moment. The last one, though, is really interesting, because it means Valve and people working on Mesa have been able to test some upcoming games for Steam Deck and Linux, and they're likely bigger titles too since they're not being named. I should note, though, there might be an update bug here where it will keep telling you an update is available, and it might even revert it back to 3.4.5. In this clip, you're seeing it on 3.4.5, and the update runs and it does go successfully to 3.4.6, but then it tells me the update is available again, so I run it again, but it puts me back to 3.4.5 and repeatedly said no updates were available even after rebooting. I had to actually go back to stable, run the updates there, then go back to preview and run updates again to get it to stick to 3.4.6. So be sure to check the OS version number in the system settings to make sure it's done properly. I've let Valve know about this sort of update loop problem, so hopefully they can see what's going on. So now then, let's take an early initial look at Doom Eternal ray tracing in action on Steam Deck. The first thing to note is don't go expecting some kind of amazing performance. The ray tracing code in the Mesa graphics drivers is still a work in progress. This is a preview version, and ray tracing tech anyway always pushes a system much harder, even on a powerful desktop. So what I'm showing you is a scene on Steam Deck with SteamOS preview with ray tracing off on high details, and we're getting around 60 frames a second. Now I'm going to turn on ray tracing where you'll see the performance does drop, but it is working. You can mostly stay above 30 frames a second on high details with ray tracing on as well. It's actually genuinely impressive. If you dropped it down to medium or tweaked stuff individually with ray tracing on, I would say you could already get a damn fine experience with Doom Eternal ray tracing on SteamOS 3.4.6. I'm actually spoiling a whole lot of this for myself by doing this video, as I've only just recently started a full playthrough of the previous game because there's just so many games I want to play. But I'm honestly just going to push through it now because I want to play Doom Eternal like this. This is going to be epic. Honestly, I'm amazed by this. Ray tracing in such a huge title right here in my hands. This is just completely ridiculous, isn't it? Can you imagine what a Steam Deck 2 with an upgraded APU could do? I'm getting excited all over again, guys. This is just amazing. I was actually thinking about the Steam Deck 2 a lot more recently, and how I initially thought it would actually be a pretty easy job for Valve to make a success of it. But then I started to think more, and they've actually got a really difficult job for the second generation. With the first Steam Deck already being as good as it is, and with the price point Valve said being quite painful to hit, how are they going to manage it with an upgraded model? They would have to keep it affordable while being a decent enough upgrade. And they spoke before about focusing on the battery and screen, but would that really be enough of an upgrade? Look, I'm not asking for much. Well, obviously I am. I want to shrink the screen border so it's actually smaller overall, pop in a new APU, a slightly better battery, and so on. You get the idea. There is a lot to want from a Steam Deck 2. We already know Valve are looking to the future for more Steam Deck models as well. As they said, it's a multi-generational product line. The problem is they need to wait a while. They need to ensure people feel like their purchase and personal investment into the original was actually worth it. If they do an announcement too soon, it might upset a lot of people. But how soon is too soon, though? 2 years? 3 years? By 3, is it too late? The Steam Deck, though, just keeps on getting better all the time, and if you do try out Doom Eternal with the ray tracing on the SteamOS preview, be sure to let me know what you think. I am blown away by this. I knew it was coming, but I'm still genuinely shocked and surprised by this. I'll also leave an ending note here about some Apex Legends bans because it's probably important that you know about this. Recently, a whole bunch of players on Linux started receiving a ban for playing Apex Legends. The interesting thing though is that while the Steam Deck runs Linux, it seems like 99% of the bans were desktop Linux players. The situation is very unclear right now, with reports still coming in across the EA forum and the official Valve GitHub page. I will be keeping an eye on it to see how it goes, but so far, at least playing normally on Steam Deck is okay. I've played regularly with no issues, but that could change. I'll have a lot more Steam Deck news coming in my next normal news video early next week, so be sure to subscribe and follow along, give this video a like and a comment, and tell me your thoughts on this video or anything else, and I'll see you later.